Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rekakadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of the video is Birth Pains and Warnings, right? And the scriptures tell us that we should give the elect a warning from Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. And basically the whole world, everybody, the wicked and the righteous. Because if whether they hear or whether they forbear, right? So we're giving you the warning so your judgment can be set. However, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has set you, whatever order he has set you in, you know. So, we're giving warnings on that, on what's happening in the world. Second Esdras 9 says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I've told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it's the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So we're measuring the times, right? And we're aligning what's happening in the world with prophecies. And pretty much we're at the end, right? And therefore we're giving you a warning. Now you have this government shutdown that's happening. We don't know how long it's going to be. Maybe, this could be the one that kicks off the start of the end. And it makes things intensify, Jacob's trouble and whatnot. We just have to see. But we have been warning of these things, right? These are the birth pains that we're talking about, right? The scriptures talk about effects and signs, right? It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world at the beginning and the end is manifest. It says, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. So we're witnessing those effects and signs. They said this government shutdown hasn't happened in, I believe, like 7 years, they said, roughly. But with everything going on, we know exactly what time period we're living in. And once again, as a warning, we are living in the end. Now it's the time to, make thyself ready, which we're going to look at in Second Esdras chapter 16, as being as pilgrims on earth, because all hell is about to break loose. So, once again, we have the shutdown happening. So federal agents aren't getting paid, but we have ICE, right? We have ICE, and Trump gave them, I believe, their fund was, more than, I believe they said more than all the agencies combined, the funding for ICE. So I don't know if they got the money already, but more than likely they do have the money already, to pay their ICE officers. So they are there to stay. They're not going away, so all hell is breaking loose. This is, now this is Homeland Security. So this should tell you how serious things are right now in the world. The fact that Homeland Security, you got your seal there, it's posted here, and they're talking about it. They have images and everything. October 2nd, today is October 3rd. All right, so I seen a video or a news article, it was posted 6 hours ago about this. So it says 2 vehicles used as weapons against ICE officers in Operation Midway Blitz and separate incidents yesterday. Right, I seen a report of ICE agents, storming Illinois, rappelling from helicopters into the streets, like they do in the movies. All right, the continued anti-ICE rhetoric, spewed by Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson, contributes to ICE law enforcement facing a more than 1,000% increase in assaults against them. Washington, the Department of Homeland Security condemns violent acts against it. Hey, so they're completely divided. This is the government. This is Washington. This is Homeland Security, right? And they're saying on this, legitimate piece of documentation here that their mayors are spewing anti-ICE rhetoric, right? Which means they're divided, right? And that goes into your Matthew 12, right? A kingdom divided against itself shall not stand. So there you go. So the Department of Homeland Security condemns violent acts against all federal law enforcement as just yesterday in Illinois, criminal illegal aliens used their vehicles as weapons against federal law enforcement. Says U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Okay. Officers were targets of two separate vehicular assaults in Chicago metro area, in Bensenville, Illinois, and again in Northridge, Illinois. Criminal illegal aliens weaponized their vehicles in deliberate attempts to ram and injure officers carrying out their sworn duty to uphold our nation's immigration laws. So they got images of vehicles. If you want to look at it, there it is. Thankfully, none of our law enforcement was killed because of these deranged criminals' attacks on law enforcement. This is exactly what happens when the governors, right, of many different states and other sanctuary politicians demonize ICE and encourage illegal aliens to resist law enforcement. Yeah, Trump was trying to resist what the jump shot. Hey, for whatever reason, TikTok has now banned the juice emoji on TikTok. I'm thinking that goes into the juicy juice shop, but they banned the emoji with the juice. And we know who's working with the TikTok now. So anyway, yeah, Trump was trying to go against the juicy juice, right? He was telling people, fight back, and before when they stormed the Capitol, right? Yeah, people getting arrested for that and whatnot. Now he's a completely different guy. We don't know what happened. It's like America was first, but Israel is first. You know, it says this is exactly what happens when governors and mayors of different states and other sanctuary politicians demonize ICE and encourage illegal aliens to resist law enforcement. Said Assistant Secretary McLaughlin. Okay, our ICE law enforcement is facing a more than 1,000 increase in assaults, including cars being the weapons against them. I seen one article where ICE agent got shot in the neck. The Secretary Noam has been clear: anyone who assaults law enforcement will be persecuted to the fullest extent of the law. These back-to-back attacks underscore the dangers ICE law enforcement officers face every day as they remove criminal illegal aliens from America's neighborhoods. Okay, so this. What is this going to? This is going to the cities being troubled, and it's going to increase. Especially with this government shutdown. Imagine if government shutdown lasts a while, and now no one is able to, people don't have enough money and things to get the things they need, and now they're going to the streets. They're trying to rob and steal. They're attacking one another. ICE is going to be there to help them with their weapons, right, by using force. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, when people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men. And this is exactly what's happening right now in the world. And it's happening all over the world. A lot of uproars of the people are happening in the world against their governments all over the world. Right? You got UK, Israel, France. We don't know what's happening in China and Russia. From what I'm hearing, everybody in Russia, they're uproaring about the fact that Russia hasn't attacked America or Israel yet, pretty much. So that's what they uproaring about. They ready for it. Don't know too much about China, because these are major players, but everywhere else, the other major players is all hell breaking loose, right? So that's sedition, basically overthrowing of the government. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men." So for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Slakia, let me grab some water real quick. Slovakia. I guess that's Satan thing. I be feeling fine all day now. I'm doing this video and I don't know, that's Satan though. Hey, but Satan is losing. So anyway, it says, "For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes." Yeah, and that's why ISIS being ran over by people, because these people do not care. It says, "In the course of their action, they shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." So this is, yeah. So like I was saying, the power went out. Um, I don't know what happened. It's not a big deal right now. I have a device that I got with my Wi-Fi in case the power kicks off. That it allows the Wi-Fi to still operate for a certain amount of time, so I can still do the work, for a little bit right now, and I'll figure out what's up with the power. Um, so like I said, call Allah Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, and especially the fact that I was doing the work, if all hell did break loose right now, you know, my last video, maybe. So anyway, Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So like I was saying, this is exactly what's coming here. What's about to happen, what's about to go down. It says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." So this is what's going to happen, right? This is what all that's happening right now is going to amount to. Ultimately, this will happen. This will take place, and these are the birth pains, right? The effects and the signs. Second Ezra chapter 16, verse 1. "Woe be unto thee, Babylon and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Gird up yourselves with close cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away?" So there is no healing of the bruise to Babylon, right? America, Babylon the Great will be destroyed, right? And before that, the cities and everything will be troubled, right? And America itself is a one big city, right? Trying to think about where that precept is at. Yeah, let me grab it down here. Revelation 17:18, it says, "And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth," right? It's talking about America. Is a great city. So the city shall be troubled. America itself will be troubled. The whole of America, and then ultimately will all be burnt up, destroyed. The only way out of America and for safety is through, the chariot saving you. Well, what you have time now to leave, get up out of America, right? But you can't escape the judgment of the Father Yahweh, Bashmi Al Shai. But the warning is going out. America will be totally destroyed. Other places might not get hit as bad as America, right? So it says, "May any man drive away an hungry lion in the wood, or may anyone quench the fire and stubble when it hath begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow to the shot of his strong archer? The mighty Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah sent the praise, and who is he that can drive them away? No one. A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? The earth quaketh, and the foundation thereof. Why is that? Because, like I said, the nuclear missiles, Isaiah 24, tells you that the earth shall roll to and fro like a drunkard. Uh, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it. All right? That's the nuclear missiles. Malachi 1, what was it, Malachi 4? And 4 and 1 says, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. What's gonna make something burn like the nuclear missiles? You hear Trump all the time talking about them. Oh, it's so bad. It's very bad. We need to denuclearize, right? For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yeah, and all that do wickedly shall be stubbled. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, said the Lord Yahweh Bashanel shall host. That it shall leave them neither root nor branch. So nothing's gonna be left of America, right? Like I said, because I read it here in the scriptures, right? And they are faithful and true, and they will come to pass. Let me get up on Isaiah 24. Let's see. This was the same scripture that I was mentioning here. Yeah. Isaiah 24:20, it says, the earth shall roll to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and shall fall and not rise again. See? So it's over, when these nuclear missiles hit. Second Ezra chapter 6 and 11, the Lord Yahweh Bashim shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? The earth quaketh, and the foundation thereof, the sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah, for the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp, shall not miss, when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world, right over here in America, which is talking about the missiles. It says, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth, right? And that's what we're dealing with right now, the birth pains, the plagues. The fires kindle and shall not be put out till they consume the foundation of the earth. And what's just happening is the process. These things are increasing. We're hearing different things happening. ICE agent getting a fight here, ICE agent getting rammed over here, ICE agent getting shot over there. So these things are increasing. And now, like I said, on top of that, you have this government shutdown, which, we don't see where they're going to agree to allow the government to start operating. And they can use this right now as the moment to start the end. At the same time, they're also planning a second attack on Iran, which ultimately will lead to World War III. So, at any day now, it can all just go up. It says, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till they consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Woe is me, who delivered me in those days, the beginning of sorrows and great mourning. Notice it says the beginning here. If you get Matthew 24, it goes into that. It goes into this is the beginning. And the beginning of what? All hell breaking loose, It says, right here, it says, Matthew 24:4, and Yahweh shall answer and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am anointed, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, so that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Right, and the last war will be World War III, and that's the rumors right now. People, it's like a rumor. Let's do this a rumor right here. It's the actual thing, but it's being talked about. It says the sense of hearing, the organ of hearing, the ear, the thing heard, report, or rumor, hearsay. What are you hearing? What are you hearing? Is we going to World War III? Meanwhile, other places, like Russia, are building bunkers for World War III. I believe UK, them over there is doing that too, right? You Americans, no one cares about you. Your government does not care about you to prepare you for anything, right? To be honest, they want population to a certain number, according to the Georgia Guidestones, right? So a lot of y'all, they really want y'all gone anyway. That's why they ain't building bunkers for you. Says verse 18, second Ezra chapter 16, verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation, and anguish are sent as scourges for men. But for all these things, they shall not turn from the wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Yeah, so a lot of y'all want to know what the hell is going on, what's happening and why the things are happening. People are still, thinking they're waiting for it to get better. And now people are just thinking that, oh, it's Trump. Trump is the problem. You know? No. It's the end. The plagues are here. It says, for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. Yeah, and that's what's going to come to. The government shut down, the food's going to stop pouring in, shit's going to start expiring, people going to get hungry, all of it, you know? Yeah, any moment they can cause any one of these government shutdowns to do that, right? They putting the pressure on y'all, and what is this doing anyway? Straining your mind, you totally through, you can't pay your bills, you're not making the money, you still got to go to work, you basically you're half in and half out. The world is fucking collapsing. Is it not collapsing? I'm at work, I'm not getting paid. Yeah, you're going through all of that. It says, for many of them that go upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the others that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. A lot of people is famining right now. Hey, Gaza, people in Palestine, through the flotilla can't even get to them without being attacked. And all they got on that ship is food, right? Different people from different countries that's just been watching the news and TikTok, right, and all of that. And they's like, I'm gonna do something about it. And they brought food over there, and Israel came through and round them up, probably threw the food in the ocean. Ate it themselves. Who knows? And people are dying, you know, and it's gonna come to America. It says, and the dead shall be cast out as dung. What does that mean? A lot of death, a lot of death. Just done. What you usually do when if someone dies, you get the family together, you buy the products to put the body in, you go bury it, and you have a whole ceremony. You got blocking off traffic, people can't get to work over you. Yeah, that's no more is gonna happen. There's gonna be too much death. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. There shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. But hey, farmers, where do you think the food come from? You think food growing trees? But yeah, no one's gonna be able to do that for you no more. Well, you can't just go to the grocery store and pick up an apple. It says, the tree shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men, so that one man shall desire to see another, and to hear his voice. For, for of a city there shall be 10 left, and two of the field which shall hide themselves in the thick groves, in the clefts of the rock. Do you hear what's happening? Do you understand what that means? How much death is about to be on this place? You can be hiding, hungry. It says, as in an orchard of olives, upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives, or as when a vineyard is gathered, there are left some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so, in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. So they can be evading the houses, coming in, searching for food. You ever seen, of course, what? I don't know, The Walking Dead, you know, you got to scavenge for food and stuff. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to be like, but worse. It said, because that's the movies. People not going to care. People don't care now. People's crazy as hell. It says, and the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her way her ways, and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travel therethrough. You never seen that. Okay, imagine going to, a forest that you be walking through, a trail, whatever. Now imagine that's just your everyday. You trying to look inside of a building and trees growing through the roof and stuff. Not maintained. It says the virgin shall mourn having no bridegrooms, the woman shall mourn having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. Yeah, because there's gonna be no help. A lot of men are gonna die. Men are gonna die in the streets, men are gonna die in the wars, right? The only people who are gonna be elect are the ones that the elect, the ones that the Lord choose to remain here, to be the helpers and the husbands, right? And the bridegrooms. Because that goes into Isaiah 4:1. Because this is the most highest plan. Right? It says, "In the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine." Hear now these things and understand them, these servants of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Shai. Behold the word of the Lord Yahweh, receive it. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. Behold, the plagues draw nigh, and are not slack. As when a woman with child in the ninth month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. And that's what we're heading to. We're heading to great death. Okay. So basically, don't trust in Esau. Even don't trust in his pseudoscience, his idols, his words. Them trying to work on an agreement and all of that. None of that is going to happen because this world is going down. So hey, birth, pains, and warnings. Shalom to those elect, which consist of men, women, and children. Shalom.